Welcome back, guys. I'm on the road today, just heading to work. I thought I'd do a quick little video and a shout out here to a couple of channels. The last video I posted, you saw it was how to upgrade your disvalve on an older BMW E46 N54 motor, and then there's a couple other ones, 3.0. You know, this is one of those project cars. It's a car that I've always wanted to own. I've always liked driving, you know, older BMWs, and I had an E30 back in the day, and I just missed the car, you know. And so I was able to pick this up about a year ago, and you know, they're not super expensive off the bat, but if you don't do any of your own mechanics work, they could get real expensive real quick. Really popping this morning. And that's just the nature of these old BMWs, or really any BMW for that matter. They're about 100,000 mile car, and then you got to really start maintaining them. And if you do that, the motors will last a long time. I mean, the old E30 that I had, I sold it with about 250,000 miles on it, and apparently that's not real uncommon. And these motors, in my opinion, are, I mean, in some way there's a lot more plastic on them, so there's maybe things crack or break easier. But you just got to maintain them. You got to keep up with the cooling system. The first thing I did was clean, do the, flush out the radiator fluid, the coolant, and then did a cooling refresh, change the overflow, the thermostat, water pump, just because stuff was wearing out and I could tell. And so I did that, and then just some other stuff around, on the side, just kind of different things around the car that needed to be fixed, including that disvalve. It's got some pull now. It's really going. See, that's good. So what I did was I changed the differential, the rear differential, from a 315 to a 246, or 315 to a 346, and that gives me a little bit more low end power. It's kind of a common mod. And then while I had it up on blocks, I worked on the disvalve, and that's what I did the video. I didn't do the video on the rear end change just because there's quite a few people showing how, or a couple of really good channels showing how to do that, and honestly, they show it better than I ever could. So I'm going to give a shout out to the 50s Kid. Thanks for your help. I mean, this kind of stuff, when you just see somebody do it and you have reference, you can kind of go back and you can get all the parts out, the tools that you need ahead of time, and it just saves a ton of time. It's really helpful to see the process before you go in and dive into a big project like that. So quick shout out to the 50s Kid. Watched a lot of your videos on just BMW maintenance and how to do different things. I know I'm going to have some projects coming up that I'm going to be referencing your stuff with. And also another channel that I'd like to give a shout out to, a big thank you to the couple over at ShoplifeTV. If you have any of these old BMWs, E46s, E90s, I think is what they do, primarily E46s, but he does a really good job, him and his girlfriend do a really good job of documenting really detailed processes on how to change water pumps, and just do really in-depth, detailed videos on how to get these things kind of in tip-top shape. And I watched this story a while back. I watched one of his, kind of his story on how he got started, and it kind of gives me hope for the next generation of mechanics. I mean, this kid just started working on stuff because he enjoyed it, and next thing you know, he's got a business, that he can sustain his life and his family, and it's just kind of cool to watch somebody do something that they love to do, and also be able to make a living at it. And that's so big thanks to ShoplifeTV. I don't know his name. I think him and his girlfriend have a couple of channels, and just top-notch instructional videos on how to get these things up and running again. In the meantime, I'll show you kind of what I'm doing on this thing. I don't think it's going to become a channel about, I don't think I really want to talk too much about working on the BMW. Like I said, there's a lot of good resources. If it's something that I think is kind of like the disvalve replacement, it's kind of rare. I mean, I've seen a lot of how to take disvalves out and check them and replace them with old ones, but I was interested in seeing if there's a way to improve it, and it's a troubled spot in this car that's always plagued these cars. So long story short, try to do your own mechanics work. There's there's not a whole lot you can really ruin on a car if you're careful. Get a set of tools, ratchets. We've talked about this before in other videos, and just give it a shot. Especially if you're a young guy, go over to ShoplifeTV, listen to what this kid says. He was in computer science, and his family wanted him to go into that, and he secretly became a mechanic on the side just because he enjoyed it. Well, that's doing what you love to do. Now he has the tech knowledge to film the stuff in a good way, and so it all plays out. And now he's probably making a good living, doing what he likes to do, and so it's just one of those things where you got to take a chance at it. And I give the kid props, man. And the 50s kid, of course, you're a good resource for this kind of stuff too. And I grew up doing this stuff. I learned it from my dad, and a lot of people don't have that. So again, YouTube can be a great resource for just learning something. And you'd be surprised at how many people are shocked by the fact that I just went and changed my brakes. In the corporate environment, it's like it's a real rare thing, and the amount of fear that people have, like, you just changed your whole braking system, like, doesn't that? I'd never touch my brakes. That's scary. But the more you learn about it, the more you realize that it's either going to work or not, and there's only one or two ways to do something when it comes to the braking system, and it's either gonna work or it's not gonna work, and there's nothing really that dangerous if you get everything tightened down and torqued to the right spec, or just get pretty much on a braking system, just get everything really tight. But if you do that and it works, you're good to go. And it's just amazing how many people are scared of that concept of working on their own systems on their car. So, big old deer walking through that yard. Cool. But just do it. Learn it. There's ways, there's it's kind of a foolproof thing. Get a good book, a manual, a Haynes manual, or a Chilton or whatever, and learn your car. Learn your tractor if you maintain a tractor. Learn some mechanical skills. This is a channel about self-reliance and being able to do your own thing. And man, these days, if you can have an extra skill set, that could potentially, I joke about it a lot. If I ever get laid off or fired from my job or have to do something different, I could always work on old beat up BMWs, and I can probably make a little bit of a side job out of it, make a little bit of a living, because I do my own work. I've always done my own work, so you can make a job out of it. It's good to have an extra skill. So just to wrap up, rambling on, just in closing here, I'm almost to work. Try it, give it a shot. Use these guys if you have old BMWs, man. These guys are top-notch stuff. And there's other channels on there if you have other cars. There's guys who are doing old American cars, hot rods, that kind of stuff. They get way into it. But there's just about everybody. There's just about an instructional video for any problem you can have for most of these cars. So, before you drop it off at the mechanic and shell out money just for him looking at it, give it a shot. Look at it. See what you can do to it. See if you can diagnose a problem. And you might be surprised at what you find. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for the subscribership. Hey, if you have any comments or questions on mechanics work or what tools I use, or if you want to see any other types of videos based on this, to me it's sort of like I just do this like I'm breathing. Like if something goes wrong, I go and fix it. But if it's something you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. Also, just say hi. I really love reading the comments. Like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever you got to do. Post notification button, guys, which is the thing. The algorithm's always changing, so you got to keep up with that. But thanks for watching. Again, I always say it, but I appreciate your viewership and the small community that we have here. I always get a kick out of hearing from you guys, and you know, especially the guys that have been following the channel for years now. Just thanks for your support, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a good day.